What's up, everybody? Welcome back to more rSpace. Entitled people. Updated. Neighbor phones police because mother-in-law is parked across the road from their driveway. Well, it's taken me a little while to update thanks to another neighbor nightmare, but that's for a whole different post. So, for anyone who missed my first post, you can find the link here. To summarize, my mother-in-law parked across the road from a neighbor's driveway. They started losing their minds as they believed it to be their property. This led to some shouting and, of course, a call to the boys in blue. So, as you can probably guess, yes, the driveway overlords did indeed phone the police. After her threats, we waited around waiting for my mother-in-law to be shipped away to the big house for committing the ultimate crime, parking on a public street. I know, please try to hold judgment. However, like most close-knit streets, our other neighbors came out to see what all the fuss was about, and oh did we get the gossip. It turns out we aren't the only people she's complained about. Social carers for the elderly, visitors for other houses, council workers, and even people who live on the street have all received notes and stern warnings from our delightful neighbors about our property. Although we were the lucky ones who finally pushed them over the edge. Well, they finally arrived. We can see their house from our window, so it was prime viewing. Milady of the driveway came running out of the house clutching a mug of what I can only guess is the tears of orphaned children. They went into her house and closed the door, and so we waited, praying, hoping that they would come across to get our side of the story. Well, our wish was granted. But let me tell you, it was so much sweeter than we could have imagined. After watching the officer poking his head out of the door like a meerkat trying to figure out where the car was that was blocking their driveway, she gave him a hand and pointed to my mother-in-law's car parked across the street. This poor fellow looked more confused than a drunk with a calculator. He eventually went back inside before heading over to our house, and that's where the real fun began. He came to our door and we greeted him with the customary, "Hi, what can we do for you, officer?" Here is the following conversation from what I can remember. Good morning. We received a complaint about a car from this property blocking a driveway.
Hi there. Yeah, we've been expecting you.
Are you the resident here?
No, my son and daughter-in-law are, but it's my car that's been reported. The silver one across the street from their house.
So, I'm having trouble understanding the issue. Was your car parked across their driveway?
Nope, it's been parked in the same space since I got here.
Well, your neighbor is claiming you blocked their car in their drive and were trespassing.
Oh, we know. She's been leaving notes on my cars and others in the street. She's been claiming that entire section of the road is part of her personal driveway. You can ask the other neighbors.
What notes? Has she asked you to move?
Kind of. She told us and the rest of the neighbors that they would try not to hit our cars.
What do you mean?
She's been accusing us of all parking in her driveway, across the street from her house on the public road. I even have a photo of where the car was parked a few hours ago. I showed him the photo, making sure to point out the time and date when it was taken, and he just shook his head. He asked if there was anything else he should know before dealing with the matter. We were more than happy to fill him in on how she came to my door to stamp her feet in disapproval, throwing all the aggressively condescending, "It's illegal, sweethearts," she could our way. He asked if we felt threatened. I said no, but I wasn't happy that she was yelling at me while holding my baby. He said he understood, and we encouraged him to talk to the neighbors to get a full picture of what's going on. So that's exactly what he did, and Jesus, Mary, and the wee donkey. It was all so much worse than I thought. For them. In our street, news travels fast. We're gossipy little shites. We even have our own street WhatsApp group. Yeah, I know it's kind of sad, but we're all friends. Lockdown really brought us together. The officer did in fact make his way down the doors, and they were all more than happy to grass them in after all their griping. It turned out that not only had they been harassing other people for parking near their home, but they had also been witnessed exiting the car looking a little wobbly. Wobbly as in 3 sheets to the wind, drunk as a fart. One can only assume this is why he needs 20 plus feet to reverse into his drive. His wife, the lady of the driveway, and pain in my arse, has been spreading rumors that other people were having affairs, such as the gay teenager up the street having it on with the middle-aged mother of 3 next door to him. However, the pièce de résistance was revealed to us when the officer came back to our house to wrap up. When the officer asked about our trespassing on her property, she told the police officers I trained my cat to shite in her plant pots. My huge, fluffy, and attitude-fueled kitty had been having his morning poop in her begonias. His name is Stanford, and he is renowned in our street for being a sassy little dickhead, sitting on top of cars, sneaking into people's houses, and sleeping on their beds, of course, tormenting dogs. I have never been prouder of him. In the end, the officer went back to her house, and from what he can tell,
told her to stop being a FUD, and if they were caught drunk driving, they would be arrested. Any more notes of coming to people's doors, and they could be charged with harassment due to the volume and nature of the events. Essentially, they were told to get a grip, and the officer went off to attend to actual crimes. Now the neighbor parks across the street from his driveway in protest, and the rest of the street accommodates by parking directly in front and behind them, as is our right by law. Get it right up your ball bags. I hope my cat held eye contact while he was pooping on your plants. Next up, new mom thinks the bathroom furniture is for her use alone. This happened years ago at my old job, but it came to my mind this evening. Our office ladies' room had 2 stalls, a regular stall and a handicap stall. It also had a nightstand with a drawer and a cabinet underneath for storage, which was kept outside the stalls next to the sink. This was used to store toiletries, period supplies, and reading material. One of my coworkers had her first baby and immediately had a lot of attitude about it. Maybe someone had told her she couldn't have a baby and a career or something, but she was super defensive right from the beginning. She had to breast pump during the day, and she chose to do it in the handicap stall in the ladies' room. A few times I would go in there and I could hear her using the pumping machine in the stall. I also noticed that the nightstand was missing. Sure enough, later on I would find it in the handicap stall, so I would move it back out next to the sink. This happened several times. Nightstand would move into the stall, and I would move it back out. I should mention that she had put an office chair in the stall as well. After a week or so, my coworker sent an angry email to all the female employees that said something along the lines of, "Who keeps moving the nightstand out of the handicap stall? I need the nightstand to set my breast pump machine on while I am pumping my breast milk, and there is no other place in the office to do this. It is so rude that someone is moving the nightstand. It's creating an unsanitary environment for my pumping. This is supposed to be an inclusive, supportive office, yada yada yada." I wrote back a response to her only that said, "Hey, coworker, you may not have considered this, but that nightstand is the only storage in there for everyone who uses the bathroom. When it's in the handicap stall, and that stall is occupied, the nightstand and its contents becomes inaccessible to the rest of us. Perhaps you could put another chair in the stall to set your machine on instead?" She didn't respond, but the next day, there was another chair in the stall and the nightstand never moved again. Edit. I should add a few details here because a lot of comments are addressing them. This happened about 15 years ago, and the company has long since closed down. I know that the company offered my coworker other options, and she specifically chose to use the restroom. It was a very open-plan office. The bathrooms were literally the only rooms with solid walls and doors. This was in an office building, and she also had the option of using a small conference room in the building's lobby, just a short elevator ride away. Fun fact, that was the same conference room that HR used to lay me off in later when the company was struggling. As to whether my coworker deserved my treatment of her, this was merely the worst in a long string of entitled behaviors on her part. She was not the first nor the last nursing mother on staff. She was just the only one who thought the furniture was hers to use alone. Some quick comments. First from Riley Ray. Leaving a piece of furniture in the stall wouldn't be fair to any disabled employees, especially if they have a wheelchair and can't get in or out of the stall. CJ's opinion is, why doesn't your office find a place for your coworker to pump? The bathroom is a horrible place to have to do that. Natalie2536 says, I wouldn't call her entitled. I would call your employers a-holes for not providing a place for her to pump. Next up, some crazy lady screamed at me for not helping her, despite the fact that I told her numerous times that I don't work at Walmart. She then proceeded to physically assault me. Okay, look, so I normally visit Costco to get my groceries, but when I went there, there was a big freaking number of people and no parking spaces available. So I noticed the Walmart next door, so I just go there instead, since I only have to get a couple things. Big mistake. So I guess apparently my clothes look somewhat like Walmart employee clothes. I didn't think so, but this lady did. So I get the stuff I need, and I enjoy collecting Lego sets, so I go into the Lego aisle, and I choose to get a fire truck. I'm about to leave, but then this lady aggressively grabs me from behind. Now that I think about it, she was probably on something, and she says in an obnoxious tone, "You, where are the toy guns?" I then proceed to tell her, I'm sorry, but I don't work here. She then aggressively tells me fine, and I tell her, sheesh, you don't have to be so rude. Then she turns around and says, "Excuse me?" And I say, "You don't need to be so rude," again. She then starts freaking out and says, "Do you know who you're talking to?" And I just try to walk away. Then she starts freaking out even more, starts screaming and yelling, "Security, come here." So I tell her to please shut the F up. and she freaking spits on me and calls me a bitch. Like, what the F is wrong with her? So then security comes over. I tell them my side of the story and how she spat on me, and she says that I was being an a-hole. So then the manager apologized, and Crazy Lady got arrested because spitting on someone turns out to be considered assault. Anyway, Crazy Karen is now at the police station, and I'm here telling this story. Oh yeah. Also, I'm never shopping at Walmart again. That place is crazy. Some reactions. B. Strauss 3 says, I'm beginning to think that Walmart sprays the outside of their stores with crazy attract pheromones. Next thought from Lisa Baby. Funny part is that she called security thinking they would do something about you. Surprise! I'm glad you're mostly okay. Ghost Chan 02 says, so I actually work at Walmart. Literally the only thing that separates Walmart employees and the customers is a Walmart vest. It's a very obvious vest with the Walmart symbol on the front and back. Also, I'm pretty sure aggressively grabbing someone is assault, so that's almost a problem. She should have known saying excuse me is the way to get someone's attention. But then who am I kidding? On to the next story. Apparently, I have the devil in me. So I went back to my local bookstore and was in the manga section. A girl, maybe a few years younger than me, asked me if I could help her find Psyche K. And I told her that I highly doubt it because as far as I know, there is no English version of the manga, and I doubt this store would carry a foreign language version of Psyche K. But I would still look around for her. After looking through the sections, I thought it could be in TDS. I told her, I don't think that's here. Try another bookstore or look online. She thanked me and walked away. I didn't notice the lady next to me, and she tapped my shoulder. Excuse me, could you help me find this Christian book? She smiled real big and I felt bad. Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't work here. She looked confused and asked why I was helping that girl if I didn't. I explained that I know a lot about manga and I could help her easily. Plus, I was already in the aisle. She snapped and yelled, Are you scared of Jesus? I was shocked. Why lie about not working here? Are you afraid of helping Christians? Follow me, I'm getting your manager. She grabbed my arm and I yanked it away. I sped walked to the door, all while she yelled, The devil's inside of you. I just wanted to get another volume of Horimaya. I'm not even anti-Christian. I'm so confused why she automatically went to the assumption that I was. Anyways, sorry if this was anticlimactic, but I felt like sharing. A first reaction from Anomaly33. Worked at Best Buy for a while. Had a lady say the devil was working through me because the malware she had on her computer wasn't covered under warranty. Last comment from She Who Loves to Draw. The weird ladies who freak out when someone isn't as Christian as they are have always scared me. I have an aunt who would tell me Pokemon is witchcraft and I shouldn't play the games, watch the show, collect the cards, etc. because I'd go to hell. Meanwhile, my super spoiled cousins are reading Harry friggin' Potter, and that was okay because it was something my super spoiled cousin liked. She hasn't changed much, but fortunately my cousins have really matured and have become great people who don't thump the Bible and tell their relatives that they're going to hell for liking something that isn't covered in crosses and shame.